Welcome to lecture number 2 in the first IHF Children's Handball Symposium. My name is Courtney Gahan. I'm a member of the IHF media team and I am your moderator for today's session. Today we have 3 translation options available: French, Spanish and Arabic. You can use these only if you're joining us on Zoom, and you can find them at the bottom of your screen by clicking the globe icon marked interpretation and selecting the label for your language. If you're watching this on Facebook right now, one of my colleagues is going to share the link to the Zoom session so you can join us if you would like, though I believe you will need a password to log in. This first IHF Children's Handball Symposium forms part of the Virtual Academy introduced by the IHF last year to facilitate global online learning and licensing. You can find all the Virtual Academy materials at ihfeducation.ihf.info. This first IHF Children's Handball Symposium is comprised a total of 8 lectures presented by top children's handball experts from around the world. Today's lecture is presented by Dr. Patricia Sosa Gonzalez from Spain, IHF Handball at School lecturer, and she is going to talk to us about planning the first practice. Please note that this lecture is being recorded, so you will be able to access it later on demand on the IHF Education Centre, as well as on the IHF Facebook page. So Patricia, welcome, and we are ready to begin when you are.
Sorry, but my microphone is out. Sorry for the inconvenience, but my microphone is okay. It's okay now?
Yes, it's fine, no problem.
And I'm going to share. It's okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Courtney. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where in the world you are. First of all, I would like to thank you all for your interest you have shown in attending this online webinar. Secondly, I would like to thank the International Handball Federation and those responsible for the Handball at the School program for this opportunity they have given me to share with you some ideas and practical examples about how to teach handball to children from 5 up to 11 years old. As you can see, the title of this webinar is Planning the First Practice. But first, let's see the message from the ambassador of this second webinar of this IHF Children's Handball Symposium.
Hello, my name is Ryu Eun-hee. I'm playing in the Korean national team women handball team, and my position is right back. Ever since I was young, I loved to play any sports with ball. Although it was a simple reason, I found there was a handball club in the school by chance, and I joined the team because it seemed so fun. To compare without sports, handball has faster tempo and you have to work together with your teammates to score. I hope you can enjoy handball without injuries for a long time. It's not an easy situation for all the handball family with COVID-19 nowadays, but I wish to get over with handball. Thanks. Bye.
So thank you very much to Eun-hee Ryu for sharing what handball has meant to her since she was a child. So this is our agenda for today. These points are going to be discussed: the philosophy of sports initiation in team sports, learning stages, game-based approach, some key ideas on structuring lessons, an example of practical activities with children, and of course, conclusion. First, philosophy of sports initiation in team sports. As you can see, in my opinion, child must be the center of the teaching learning process. And of course, teachers and coaches are very important. And three factors are very important, in my opinion: knowledge, didactics, and relationship. And of course, learning stage with their characteristic, objectives, content, and methodology: learning by doing or learning by playing, game-based approach, or cognitive active learning. It's very important to understand that in this process, in the action, in the movement, we have three mechanisms: perception, decision, and execution. So if we center only in execution, only in technique, in an isolated way, we are not working well, in my opinion, because you have to take into account the process, the cognitive process of perception and decision, and it depends on the context you work. You have to share a space playing full of uncertainty with opponents, ball, free spaces, etc. So you have to work on this idea, working from the first learning stages, and then in advanced stages you can work to get improve the technique. But at the beginning, in my opinion, the most important thing is to understand the situation and to try to do the action. Well, talking about learning stage, I am only I'm only go to speak that we have 5 main levels in teaching learning process in handball at the school: novice, beginner, intermediate, advanced, and expert level. And we are now talking for novice and beginner. We have to respect the developmental and learning stage of children, and the primary factor is the level, and the secondary factor is the age of the children. So make handball enjoyable and fun to learn. What about game-based approach? Okay, if you can see in this slide, learning pyramid, the average student retention rates are these. So 75% practice by doing. So why not practice by playing? Game-based approach through games and game-like situations build tasks of learning which enable active cognitive learning, tactical thinking, offer many experiences as varied as possible with maximum active participation and with link to real game. In progression, you have to manipulate the ball. This ball you have in this image, it represents the common elements we have in team sport to change it, to advance in progression and variant. Space, time, goal, ball, rules, opposition, teammates, and so on. And combining tactical understanding with the skill development in some game for all game-like situation in order to induce, it's very important, the learning of what the child needs at each specific moment to improve his or her performance. And change it. I say, this is the acronym we have here, is in the booklet also. Coaching style, how to score win, the area, the number of players, game rules, equipment, inclusion, and time. And now, some key ideas on structuring lessons. When you are planning the practices, you have to ask a question ourselves. How many students and players do you have? It's very important. What level do they have? You have to know the level of the participant. Why do they practice handball? Or what are their interests? In what context are they? What is the focus? Is it more recreational and social or more competitive? What sports facility, equipment, and materials do you have? And a lot of questions you have to try to reflect and answer before plan to do plan, program, and designing lessons. Here you have an important other question, like the training period is not the same for only one term or a complete term, a complete year, sorry. The duration of sessions and number of sessions per week, number of weeks, or months, or years to train your athletes. So for sports clubs, at least make weekly planning with the main training objectives and contents. Design each day's session previously. Main objectives of each session have to be aligned with the short and medium-term objectives. And at least a teaching unit of 6 or 8 lessons within the annual physical education curriculum at the school. Now I am going to talk about this important for me 3 phases of the learning process. First phase is cognitive phase. The athlete needs conscious control and makes a lot of mistakes. And associative needs to think less about movement, achieve greater fluidity and fewer errors in the overall structure of the movement. And the other one, the last one, the autonomous, does not need to think to execute the skill and has the ability to free his her attention to be aware of the context. So please be patient. And now this is an example of lesson 4. We have here first general information about main objectives and contents, and the 3 classical parts we have to develop. The initial part, main part, and final part. Here is the same idea, how it is my work, for example, reduced work, because the introductory part with warming up and motor skill circuit training for me is very important at the beginning with the children, main part and ending part. And here you can see also a proposal who is in handball at the school booklet. There are 8 days for work with children, where you have here the main themes and the structure of learning task you have to work, but it's just an idea. You have to design your own plan. So in the session structure, we have the 3 parts. The first one, the initial part, is very important. The initial information to encourage children to the lesson is very important. What saying them what they are going to do, what they are going to learn, and the typical warm up again. Sorry, and coordination and motor skill circuit training, as Pablo Greco, Dr. Pablo Greco, will talk about next Monday about this kind of thing about coordination, motor skill circuit training, etc. Also work with lead up games, think games, or gameplay situation. And the main part, when you are working with children, there is no difference between the first and the main part. But when you advance the level, yes. So you can start by a situated skill development drill, why not? Or start by playing partial game forms, or small-sided games, or mini handball. So you have a lot of things to do with your children. You have to think about what are you going to do. But it's very important for me to introduce situated skill development drills with, in addition with partial game forms, to learn or to refine a technique or movement in a more like game situation. And final part, cool down, feedback, the assessment of the lesson, talking to your children, what was the best, what was the thing you don't like it, and so on. What are your problems? And these are, in short, keywords about this theme: games, fun, opposition, motivation, positive emotion, problem solving, guided discovery, real context where tactical intelligence work on read, but not only read the game, also write the game. It's very important. So now I'm going to go to the main important point in this webinar for me is these examples of practical activities with children. So in this section, taking into account the saying that a picture is worth as 1,000 words, I'm going to show you some examples of practical activities recorded on video with children, since for this specific occasion, I have been lucky enough to be able to work for a couple of days with two mixed groups of boys and girls between 5 and 11 years old. They attend a sports recreational handball school in my city, and I was authorized to train them for a couple of days and also to record them on video. So my most sincere thanks go to all those involved: children, coaches, parents, and managers. This sports school has a more social than competitive orientation, and the level of participant is not as high as that children of the same age in a competitive sports club. This has been a real case of planning the first practice, since I didn't know the children at all, nor their level motor, nor their years of practice sports. So to be honest, my initial goal was to make a widely set of examples of game and practical activities for the initiation to handball. Therefore, instead of presenting it with only text and graphics, I decided to record it on video with real children. Finally, I had to change what I had planned and make a mix between what I wanted to do and what I was really able to do. And so I had to adapt my overambitious planning to really to the reality of each of the two groups, novices and pre-novices and beginners, by putting my focus more on the teaching learning process in a real context of practice. As you will see, they are very heterogeneous groups, both in terms of ages and levels of motor skills and knowledge of the game. And for me, it has been a great challenge and a wonderful experience, which I want to share with you my first practice. But first, please pay attention because I am going to propose you a question. I would like you to answer through the chat. Once you have listened to this talk and seen the videos that I am going to show you now on my first practice, with these two groups, answer briefly in a couple of lines, please, through the chat, and the most appropriate answer will be revealed, announcing the names and countries of the two winners after conclusions. So, question is, in your opinion, what should be the main aspects that the training sessions with these children should focus on, and how, through what methodology? Okay, are you ready? It's a challenge. Now, this is my first lesson with this pre-novice and novice group, 5 up to 11, up to 9, sorry, years old. My first work was this game, catching bouncing game, learning the basic skill of bouncing the ball by playing. So each player bounces a ball around the court, and one or two players will have to catch one of the other players who will try to escape. And to be identified, the persons wear a yellow bib hanging their pants. When a pursuer manages to catch another person, the roles will be reversed. So I put here also some ideas about progressions and variants you can work. For example, include more pursuers progressively, or if it is very difficult to the pursuers to bounce the ball and touch someone, then change the rule and decrease the space, or set that the pursuers go chasing without the ball. And when they touch someone, they ask for the ball and switch role. Or if it is too easy for the pursuers to bounce the ball and touch someone, then change the rule and set the pursuers to chase by dribbling the ball with their non-dominant hand. But here it is the real context. From 5 to 9 years old, forming a group. This lady is only 5 years old and first 3 months practicing handball. And there is another over there. Okay, so continue. Next one. This one was cop and robbers game. Were two teams. Sorry, the robbers escape, bouncing the ball, and the cops chase the robbers and try to catch them. Caught robber must be led to jail, the circle in the middle of the court, and have to continue dribbling the ball inside the jail with one arm up, asking for help. The game ends when all the robbers are caught, and then switch roles. And I'm going to talk about progression and variant you can use. But first, I would like to highlight that it's very important to give attractive names to your games with children. It's very important, positive emotions. Free robbers can save caught robbers by high-fiving them, but avoiding being caught, and modify the size, shape, or the jail, or change it for 2 new jails in another spaces, and so on. And also, caught robbers must sit and continue dribbling the ball while sitting. And remember, you can use the acronym, change it, always. So here we can see that this lady in blue, in dark t-shirt, a caught, the other one go to jail, and here the robbers who were caught were chased. They are continue working with the task, and they are waiting that girl who is over there in green t-shirt, but I think so that she didn't appear. Okay, and now beware of sharks and save the treasure. So occupation of free spaces, very important, perception, decision, and execution. What I talked before, not only bounce the ball, but always thinking, task where you need to think, perceive, taking information, and make a decision and execution of movement. 4 sharks are placed in 3 lines in a disposition of 1, 2, and 1 along the court. The objectives of the castaways, the attackers, each with a ball, is to reach the coast, the opposing goal area, to save the treasure, is the ball, by bouncing the ball, preventing it from being eaten by the sharks, which can only move along their lines. Switch roles, so everyone practices both roles. And progressions and variant, very important. You say, try to bounce, lifting the head, arising your head, and changing hand if it is possible. Of course, you can change your defensive disposition and so on. Remember, we can manipulate playing constraint to induce the learning of variability of motor skills. Here is the first defender, the first shark, and there is 2 in the other line. He is perceiving situation and making decision She stopped to perceive, and she's trying to control the ball. Here, you can see the oldest of this group succeeds in their action, but not the little one. Okay, continue. Now, game of putting the ball on a cone, 2 versus 1, is very important. Space-time adjustment, the timing of action and advance to the target. 2 attackers with a ball against a defender have to put the ball on one of the cones located on the center line of the court using the cycle of steps and without being touched by the defender when is in possession of the ball, the attacker. So variant, if it's too difficult for the attacker or if it's too easy for attackers, we have options. Remember, change it. You can see
No.
defender in the green t-shirt. She's trying to touch the attacker with ball, but the lady in black is just passing the ball and adjusting the time action. And now she's running with bouncing ball to put the cone on. So excellent. Now she, the lady in pink t-shirt, doesn't go to the cone. Why? She needs to understand the target of the game. Okay, next one. 10 passes game in 3 versus 3 learning. The cycle of steps. Again, it's very important. The principle of the game of maintaining ball possession and internalization of the cycle of steps. The important aspects of teaching learning process are the use of instruction or self-instruction out loud. It's very useful to help internalize the actions that are being learned. And correct technical execution is not important as at this stage. The important thing is that they perceive the stimuli from the changing environment, teammates, opponents, free space, passing lane, and make good decisions, even if they execute bad passes, for example, and it's happening here. Technical mastery requires practicing and repeating, and tactical mastery requires playing. The key is finding the right combination of both. So give them opportunities for action to explore, experiment, getting right or getting wrong. Now we are counting passes. They are in 3 against 3. Now they are passing without move, without no motion. They are in no movement. So next station, I'm asking her, stop. I freeze the action, which is a good resource in learning, in teaching learning process with children. And I asked her, what can you do when you catch the ball? You have the option of 3 steps, bounce the ball, and again 3 steps. So I repeat, when I receive the ball, I don't bounce the ball. First of all, do 3 steps, and then when you finish 3 steps and you catch the ball, what you can do, asking, guided discovery is a good style of teaching. And now, please be patient. Be patient. As you can see, they are thinking. They are in the first phase of learning, the cognitive phase. She said, and the other teammate said to her, come on, 1, 2, 3, pause, and continue, and reinforce.
Un, dos, tres.
It doesn't matter if
Venga,
she
hecho
commits
doble.
technical
Sigue,
faults.
sigue el juego.
It doesn't matter.
Venga, a ti.
The important is that
¿Qué
she's
hace primero?
working
Un,
on movement
dos, tres,
and
bote.
observing, taking information for the context. So very important thing. And now, game of throwing game of throwing to targets in the goal. This is the most important thing in team sport, to shoot at the goal. So this is an individual and team competition where two teams placed in two rows behind 9-meter line have to throw balls, one player after another in a row, to the targets placed in the goal, trying to score more points than the other team. And the player who scored the most points individually will also be the winner and change sides the road, because there are points if they hit in a yellow hoop or in the red hoop or in the yellow cone or blue cone. And also you can modify the rule of the using of steps, bounce steps, and so on. Remember, change it. Now we are going to see the level of mastery in these basic skills of running with the ball and shooting. Of course, when you are working with children, it's very important the affects, positive feedback, positive emotion, reinforcement, positive reinforcements, and so on. So, this was my first lessons with this pre-novice and novices group. And the next day, they had a match. It was, they have dated a match against another team, in a sports team. And they were, there was the first match for them. So you can look here who is starting the game. My children are the blue team, and the other team is the red team. And she has 9 years old. The red team, they are 9 years old, and they have been working for more years, and also worked 3 times a week, and mine just twice a week, and don't play. They don't have competition, and they started because of the COVID-19 very early this seasons. So here it is again. They are working with half court defense. The red team is waiting there. And look at that lady trying to pass the ball, but everybody's around the ball. And when still the ball, she bounces, making forward the goal and shooting. And now this is the last chunk of the match. Look at that, everybody around it. But this is a very good action of that girl. It's a long pass. And now she bounces again, stop to pass the ball, the free space. And she started again. And this is an structured game. It's an anarchic game, and so on. So it's the first stage. That is the first. This is the real game, the first stage with children. So be patient, please. And all together, both teams working on the values of our sports, of course, friendship, fair play, and so on. And now we are going to start with the example of practical activity with the beginner group. And this is the catching game again, but I advance working on the individual principle tactical principle of offer support and ask teammates for supports and work together. So to avoid being catch, they have the option to sit on the ground first, isolated, but then with another teammate. No, they need to help each other. Okay, so I'm going to advance because of the time. So the pursuers carry a yellow bib in their hand, and here you have, for example, the first is to sit down and be helped by a teammate jumping through the outstretched legs, and now they have to stick together. I ask, how are we working the help? The help here, two ladies have sitting back to back and are waiting the help of one teammate. She's asking for support, help, please. And now, okay. And this is the same game we saw previously with the pre-novice and novices, game of putting the ball on a cone, and the situation is 3 against 1. Is easier for the defender because she don't have to be warned about the rules of the 3 steps, bounce 3 steps, and the attacker with the ball has to apply the rule and has to adjust his or her action in order not to be touched. So it's a very important game. And this is a game, 10 passes game with progressions and variants to try to achieve the maintaining ball possession as principle of the game, tactical principle of the game, and the internalization of the cycle of steps. So first in 3 against 3 and 2 against 2, and then 5 against 5. And later I divided the half court in 2 zones, and half court and another half court, and later in 4 quadrants. So they have to think what to do, taking information, making decision, and execution in this uncertainty of context. Look at that. Yeah, counting the passes. They need a lot of time to make decision, and their mastery of technique is not very good. They are very young, of course, and with a few years of practice. So, and now it's mandatory to use the cycle of steps. In order they internalize this action, that the possibilities they have when they have the ball possession. And also the help again. Here again, 1, 2, 3, go to occupying free spaces, and then pass. Where is free space? I go, I take information and make decision. Where is the free space? And now pass the ball. Okay. And this one, I'm explaining that she came from one half of the court, but she didn't change the half court to pass the ball. So, very important to stop the action, to freeze the action, explain, to understand, so they can understand the target and the tactical meaning of the action. And now it's a little bit better, more fluidity here, but everybody is moving the same space. So new rule. What we are going to do now, that there is no possible to pass to the same quadrant where you have initiated your action. If you have initiated your action in one quadrant and you get another quadrant, you can pass from the original quadrant and the quadrant you arrived. So you can see here that that girl catch the ball, change to another quadrant, okay, and pass to another way, but it was the same quadrant that she came. So here, I'm explaining again. The girl in blue, teacher, has passed the same quadrant that she has arrived. So she is not thinking at all. He's moving, good action, change the quadrants, and then pass the ball. But again, it's very important in the teaching learning process to explain. His action was very good, but this one teammate in yellow t-shirt was behind him in the same quadrant. So I'm talking to them, what are you doing there if there is impossible to receive a pass? Okay, so continue. Again, change quadrant, pass again to the same quadrant, and ultimate say, but once again. And now the cycle of steps and shoot at goal in one versus goalkeeper. So we must not forget that we can also use situated skills development drills to learn or perfect a technique or movement in a more game-like situation. It is also a highly recommended resource to change the focus of attention after having played games that require a lot of tactical or cognitive demands. So if these situated skills development drills end in a shoot on goal, much better, because it is much more motivating. And we have changed again our common elements of the game. The distance, the cycle of steps, and in motion or jumping, and so on. Here, again, trying to internalize
un bote, 3 pasos.
3 steps, 3 steps.
Muy bien, portero.
And adjust their movement to the distance they have to shoot at goal. As you can see, they commit a lot of technical mistakes, but they are learning. And now another situated skill where I tried to work on the feint, and the most important aspects in the learning process of the feint or body faking. You should never start the action by dribbling the ball, because the first 3 steps of the cycle of steps are lost. You should never attack against the defender. You have to attack into free space. And if the defender comes, quickly change direction and rhythm, and graduate the intensity of the defender and also the space to defend. Okay? And don't forget to work both sides and a lot of things adding in addition when they are improving their skills. But the first, he was against the defender. So now I'm going to pass one side to receive, to catch the ball, going to one side. forcing the defenders to move, and that attackers can choose and adjust their cycle of steps, one side and change direction.
Muy bien, Noelia.
And again, if the defender change direction and rhythm, and they are able to use the cycle of step as they need. And this is a situation of goalkeeper +2 against 2+ goalkeeper in full court. Making forward progression, not only maintaining ball possession, but also making forward progression, attacking the goal and shooting. So learn problem solving in situation with advantage in wide open space. The offensive numerical advantage is very important to start with. And if it were possible, if it had been possible, I would have brought the 2 goals closer, because it's 40 meters. It's very, very, very long distance to play in this situation. But the main objectives are observed and take advantage of offensive numerical superiority, and create and take scoring opportunities. The best situation to score. Play as a team, not individually. The best situation to score is very important. Better to pass than to pass the ball if there is a better position teammate without a defender. An improvement of long passes, development of shooting skills, regaining the ball and protecting the goal for the defenders, and so on. Now, the situation, I'm saying to them, you are 3 in white against 2+ goalkeeper. Now, Bones, if there is no one in better position, but he saw a better team position, a better position where is his teammate. So, fantastic decision. Oh, sorry. Again. This is the pink team. They are 2+ goalkeeper, who is this lady. She shoots, but now she have to go to defend the goal. And this guy, Khalid, strong attack fault with the defender, and was unable to see that girl situated here in a better position and with no defender. So goalkeeper +3 gains, 3+ goalkeeper in full court again, but in this situation, 3+ goalkeeper.
Pase, muy bien. Apoyo.
I am reinforcing them and talking, remembering them that they have to offer support.
Muy bien.
But they have a lot of difficulties to
Pase, muy bien.
profit
Pablo, muy bien.
the advantage, offensive advantage
apoya.
situation. They are 4
Bien.
playing
Daniel, muy
against
bien.
3.
Venga, Pablo, a gol.
And now,
Muy bien.
okay, he's working, pass the
Bravo.
ball, and shoot.
Bravo.
Okay. Now the second session with the group, the warming up just was a game of jumps and throwing the ball into the tunnel formed with the teammates. And it's a competition between the 2 teams, but it seems they are in naps time because they are working in a slow motion. So the other game was bouncing with auditory and visual stimuli, very important in our sport, who is rich of this kind of stimuli, and also work on offer support and ask teammates for support. It is a simple game of bouncing the ball in motion throughout the court to progress and turn it into a game of attention and perception of different auditory and visual stimuli that must be attended to and remembered to comply with the assigned instruction to each one. At the beginning, they are auditory stimuli, which are easier to attend to because you do not have to raise your head while bouncing. Afterward, visual stimuli are introduced to induce them to have the ball with their head high to perceive the stimulus that the coach can present them at any time and quickly react, making the appropriate decision. So work also through passes and receiving oriented to the same goal as a progression, not bouncing the ball, but work it also through passes and receiving oriented to the same goal, all the players. Now is the first step. I'm telling them that you have to bounce the ball, running, and with your head up, not looking at the ground. And you can see, and now auditory stimuli, sprint, run fast, bouncing, and now trot, slowly, and now walking, now left hand. Most of them are right-handed. There is only one lady who is right-handed. She's talking to me that she is right-handed and change the ball. And now we are starting with the visual stimuli. I use 3 bibs, 3 colors, the yellow bib. When I raise my arm up, the answer is going to the farthest goal of where they are. If I raise the pink bib, everybody must come quickly to the circle, middle of the court. And red, I have to be able to bounce farther of everyone. So look at that. Yellow, that meaning that quickly run to the farthest goal. Now red one. Okay, who is bouncing farther each other, the farthest they can each other, and the pink to go to the circle. So if you work with this kind of stimuli, not only bouncing, but passing the ball is very important work. And here, passing, receiving in motion, 7 players with 2 balls. So I repeat, you are 7 players with 2 balls. And the objectives are pass and receive in motion, expand the visual field, because they should be able to observe 2 balls at the same time, in addition to space and other teammates. Players with ball possession have to move freely using the cycle of steps according to their needs, and players without the ball offering themselves as a support to the player with the ball, and vary the type of pass. It is not allowed to perform 2 actions in a row with the same ball or with the same teammate. It was my proposal of progression. And Spain, first, bounce pass. At the beginning is very important to adapt the situation. It's easier to catch the ball through a bounce pass. So here is a ball, but there are 2 balls. But as you can see, these 4 players are working with 1 ball. And over there on the left side of the court, there are 3 working with the other ball. So that is not the objectives. I repeat, there are 2 balls to work. And now, 2 balls for 7 players, not 2 groups with 1 ball each one. We are 7 players, and attention please. you can pass again to the same teammate and with the same ball to oblige them to see two balls and working with the two objectives. Now maintaining ball possession 3 against 3 plus 1 with hoops. Okay, they have to be able to maintain ball possession, and later is very important how to use the cycle of steps and the support offering by the players without the ball, and occupy the optimal spaces. The optimal spaces will be the hoops. First, here, it doesn't matter the hoops, they are starting the game and remembering the 3 steps. Now, in this video, they have to receive the ball being inside a free hoop. And of course, you have 3 seconds to do your action. 1, 2, 3, 4, too much. And so he's saying to me that he thought it was only to stay inside the hoop, just 3 seconds, no more. Okay, so move, okay, good space he has occupied. But okay, where are the free spaces? Very important. And now I changed the rule. Now they have to be able to go inside a free space, free hoop, with their cycle of steps. If they are near from the hoop, use only 1, 2, or 3 steps. But if they are far away, they need to use 1, 2, 3 balls. Everyone has to use what they need. And what have to do defenders? It's very important to work with defenders also to occupy the free space that the player with the ball is going to occupy. Anticipation to the action, occupying the defender inside the hoop. Oh, let's see. No, with the ball. No. It's not good. Yes, that boy. No, this guy is inside. No, this girl. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and achieve the objectives. This okay. So, very important thing. Taking information, making decision, and execution. And this is the through bombs to knock down cones, because later we are going to have a match, partial situated, like a game match. So shoot is a team shooting, as you can see here. 2 teams have to knock down the cones, and they have to shoot as they want it. Jumping, and as I appreciate that cones are very far, I put nearer, okay? And now they are prepared to this game, 3 against 3 plus 1, to put the ball on the goal line first, and then shooting at the cone, who is 6 meters away from the sideline. But important, observe and take advantage of offensive numerical superiority due to play with one supporter, one joker, and another teammate who work with both teams, and create and take scoring opportunities, plays as a team, better to pass than bounce, and so on. Here we have. I use this space because there are the other group in the other half court, and the goals were fixed on the ground. I have no other possibilities. And first put ball on the goal line, who is the sideline. And I'm asking them what we have to do. Play, move without the ball. I offer support the teammate attacking with the ball, and you have to offer support me. Come on. Play in motion. It's very important. Play without the ball. Okay. And now, as this joker, this teammate in black, don't have defender, I include the rule that he can now score a point, but here in numerical advantage. And now I ask him, nobody is defending here. What's the matter here? And now I have put the cone over there, 6 meters far from this line, and shoot against the cone. You have to adapt to the space, the equipment, and the court you have, of course. And now, the beginners group shout. He said, we like handball. And players say, handball, and so on. It's a very important aspect to wear the cohesion team and signal, identification signal of the team and so on. And now we have the challenge for kids from our ambassador today. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Here it is. So thank you very much to Yoon-hee Ryu, the Korean player, for sending this attractive challenge for kids. And now, conclusion. Unfortunately, handball teaching practices have not changed significantly over the years, and largely remain focused on exercising and improving technical skills analytically. In contrast, we opt for an active cognitive learning where not only do children attain to read the game, but they also to write it in a variety of contexts that are full of uncertainty. I hope these ideas and some examples of practical activities discussed in this webinar are taken into consideration, and that teachers and coaches reflect on them when designing and implementing their handball teaching learning sessions and tasks with children. Nothing could make me happier than seeing generation of children playing tactically smart and enjoying handball at least as much as I do. And also I have this image because it's very, very nice. The iceberg illusion. Success is an iceberg. What people see and what people don't see. Dedication, hard work, disappointment, sacrifice, failure, and so on. So I'm finished, and now, Courtney, I'm available to answer the questions, and I would like also to know who are the winners of the question that I asked the attendees before I started showing the videos of my first practice.
We have 3 winners. Cecilia Delucci from Uruguay said that she thinks the main aspects are the basic skills and always through a game-based approach. And Rafael Pombo Menezes from Brazil said the same thing. The main aspects are tactical, technical skills through game-based approach. And then the third one is Balo Rael from Burkina Faso. He said that he thinks the answer is to develop their motor skills and the ability to play together, as well as the technical game, and all of this with a little friendly competition.
Oh, excellent, excellent answers. I applaud.
We had a
Fantastic.
lot of answers. I think it was difficult to choose.
Yes, I can imagine.
So we don't have any questions, so we can just continue to your final recommendations and then we can conclude.
Okay, personally, I would recommend starting with simplified situational games where the technical, tactical elements necessary for the game are worked in a parallel form to the learning of tactical principle, tactical intentions, to progressively increase the tactical complexity through modified games and modifying the rules. In short, favoring tactical competence without neglecting technical dominance through integrative positions. Instead of radical position as technical model versus tactical model, since technical mastery requires practicing and repeating, and tactical mastery requires playing, putting into action, the key is finding the right combination of this situation, of both. This means offering them a variety of situations that demand the most fundamental skills and possibilities for action and interaction in cooperation and opposition. Opportunities for action to explore, experiment, get it right, get it wrong, and where the coach observes and guides when necessary. I think this is essential. So this is the wonderful challenge that we have as a physical education teacher or as coaches. So let's tackle the challenge as the point of the famous Spanish poet of the generation of '98, Antonio Machado, said, "Travelers, there is no path. The paths are made by walking." So this is my final recommendation.
Okay, thank you so much. We have a lot of very positive comments thanking you for this informative lecture.
Thank you very much, Courtney.
And thank you everybody for joining us and for your active participation in the lecture. This is really fantastic. We will be back next Tuesday at the 11th of May for the next lecture at 2 p.m. Central European Summer Time, and that is presented by Dr. Pablo Grico and focuses on building the foundation through handball. I will just remind everyone that this lecture was recorded, so you will be able to access it on the Virtual Academy, and you can already find it on our Facebook page. We have a playlist, First IHF Children's Handball Symposium, where you can find this lecture as well as the opening lecture from Dr. Ilona Habkova on Tuesday. So we will see you all next Tuesday, and thank you, Patricia.
Thank you very much, Courtney, Sabrina, Ilona, Jessica, Thorsten, everybody at the IHF are been helping me to present my webinar. So thank you, my heart.
Okay, goodbye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.